Shafira, our person teaching tolerance. And this is the explanation about teaching tolerance. Tolerance involves different cultural it is creating a classroom climate that values diversity, empathy, and cooperation. And there is key aspect of teaching tolerance. There is three of them. First, respect for diversity. That means reduce prejudice and discrimination. Second, open-mindedness. It means reduce prejudice and discrimination. Third, peaceful coexistence. It is promise, peace, and conflict resolution. And there is mechanism of teaching tolerance. There is four of them. First, listen before judging. It means promote mutual respect among students. Second, ask questions, don't assume. It means reduce conflict and disciplinary issues. Third, stand up against hate speech. It means build a safe, positive learning environment. And the last, educate yourself about others. Supports emotional and social development. Teaching tolerance in the classroom, use diverse materials and literature, model respectful behavior, celebrate cultural and identity differences, encourage open dialogue and listening. Here are some activities that can promote teaching. There is three of them. First, tolerance group project with mixed background classes discussion on diversity and inclusion. Second, use restorative disciplines instead of punishment. Third, inclusive language and communication. Classroom characters created with student input. And there is benefits of teaching tolerance. There is four of them. First, positive classroom relationship. Second, reduce behavioral problems. Third, higher academic achievement. Fourth, more engaged and confident student. So there is the conclusion. Tolerance is a critical classroom management tool, not just a value. It helps manage behavior through respect, not control. Tolerance is essential for peace and equality. It begins with education and everyday actions. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will present helping students handle anger, frustration, and aggression. Emotional outbursts can impact learning and relationship, and manage emotion lead to disciplinary issues and long-term consequences. Teacher can teach self-regulation just like academic. There is understanding the emotion. How to understanding the emotion of the student? There is three of them. First, frustration. Blockade goals or repeated failures. Second, anger, responsive to perceived threats or injustice. Third, aggression, behavior aimed at causing harm. These emotions are natural but must be managed appropriately. And there is key aspect of helping student emotion. There is four of them. First, emotional awareness. Teach students to recognize and name their emotion. Help them distinguish between anger, frustration, and aggression. And improvement is goals and respected. And then social emotional learning (SEL) programs integrates SEL into the curriculum. Example, second step, zones of regulation, teach empathy, emotional expression, and conflict resolution. And lastly, access to mental health support. Ensure referral system for students showing signs of chronic emotional dysregulation. Collaborate with school psychologists, counselors, or social workers. And various activities that can handle their emotion. There is three of them. First, name the emotion. For example, I feel angry because of something. Then they can breathing technique 4-7-8 method or belly breathing. Second, problem solving step. It is what happened? What can I do differently? Given a question. And third, use the escalation strategies. There is calm tone, active listening, model calm behavior, and self-control. And there is teaching helping students handle anger, frustration, and aggression. There is 3 of them. First, use role-playing and scenarios. It means practice real-life situations through role-play. For example, what would you do if someone's cut in line? Or how do you respond if you're blamed unfairly? Second, teach problem-solving step. Stop and breathe. Name the problem, think of solution, choose the best one, and then reflect on how it went. Plus, many students act out because they can't express their emotion. Teach and practice vocabulary like angry, frustrated, disappointed, annoyed, and overwhelmed. And there is a mechanism of helping student emotions. There is 4 of them. First, trigger recognition. It means identify what situation or event lead to emotional dysregulation. Second, psychological regulation. Practice climbing techniques to reduce the psychological arousal, like heart rate or tension. And third, behavioral skill and alternatives. Equip the student with replacement behavior for expressing emotion. And the fourth was post-school support. It is important because embedded emotional regulation in the school culture train all teachers to respond constantly and supportively. Offer group SEL lessons, counselor interpretation, and family collaboration. And here is the conclusion. Effectively managing anger, frustration, and aggression in the classroom is not just about discipline. It's about teaching students how to regulate their emotion, solve problems, and build relationships. I will present disruptive behavior. Disruptive behavior refers to any action by a student that interrupts the normal flow of teaching and learning in the classroom. It can take many forms, verbal, physical, or passive, and affect not only the student involved but also their classmates and the teachers' ability to maintain a productive learning environment. So here is common causes of disruptive behavior. There is 4 of them. First, lack of engagement or boredom, emotional or behavioral disorder, HDSG, and anxiety. Second, unclear rules or expectation. Third, seeking attention or power. And fourth, external factors, harm issues, or trauma. And there is type of disruptive behavior. There is 4 of them. First, verbal. Talking out of turn, arguing, shouting, inappropriate comments. Second, physical. Moving around unnecessarily, throwing items, physical aggression. Third, passive. Ignoring instruction, refusal to work, off-task behavior. And lastly, social. Teasing, bullying, peer conflict. And there is key aspect of disruptive behavior. There is 3 of them. First, student communication. Often a form of communication rather than pure defiance. Signal, a need for help, support, or attention. Second, patterns and frequency. Chronic behavior might indicate deeper emotional or behavior issues. Tracking behavior help identify patterns. Time, subject, or input. Third, classroom management application requires preventive planning, rules, routines, relationship building, needs consistent response strategies, and various activities that can handle destructive behavior. There is four of them. First, calm down corner or break space. Set up a small area with sensory tools. For example, coloring sheets, not teach students how and when to use it. Second, emotional hardships. Students act out emotion without speaking. For example, angry, bored, excited. Class classes the emotion, discuss how we express and handle each feeling. And third, positive behavior chart or tracker reinforces good behavior and encourage consistency. For example, use individual or class-wide card with goals, like staying seated or raising hand. Provide daily feedback and rewards for meeting goals. And thus, daily check-in or feeling journal. Build emotional awareness and trust. For example, each morning, students choose an emoji, color, or word that reflects their feelings. This helps flag potential issues early. Teaching descriptive behavior. Establish clear rules and routines. Build strong teacher-student relationship. Use engaging, differentiated instruction. Teach expected behavior explicitly. And there is mechanism of disruptive behavior. There is four of them. First, identify and reduce common triggers, teach self-regulation and coping skills. Second, replace disruptive behavior with positive alternatives. Third, use consistent, non-rewarding consequences. Fourth, reinforce desired behavior more frequently. And here's the conclusion. Disruptive behavior is a common but manageable challenge in classroom settings. It is often a form of communication that reflects a student's unmet needs, emotional struggle, or lack of self-regulation skill. When educators shift from simply reacting to behavior towards understanding and appropriately managing it, classrooms become more supportive, inclusive, and productive environment for all learners. And that's all for my presentation. I'm sorry if there are any mistaken. Thank you so much. Shafira, I will present classroom management. There is a problem that I have to solve. There is problem 1. Mr. Johnson is a 5th grade teacher who has been teaching for over 10 years. These years, she has a student named Alex who frequently displays aggressive behavior. Alex often interrupts lesson, talk back to the teachers, and sometimes even becomes physically aggressive toward his classmates. Mr. Johnson has tried various strategies to manage Alex's behavior, such as setting clear rules and consequences, positive training programs for good behavior, and speaking with Alex privately to understand the root of his aggression. However, despite her efforts, Alex's behavior has dropped significantly. The classroom management technique and Mr. Johnson implements to address Alex's behavior. Provide at least 3 specific strategies and explain how each could help improve the situation. I will answer the question. First, there is collaborative problem solving, CPS. Aggressive students often feel misunderstood or powerless. CPS builds trust, teach problem solving and self-regulation skills, and can de-escalate power struggles by giving others a voice in the process. And Mr. Johnson can give a way to make Alex more comfort and less aggression. There is check-in or check-out system, CECO. This system promotes accountability, increases adult attention in a positive way, and gives Alex a predictable structure. It allows Mr. Johnson to track behavior trends and reinforce positive change. That's how Mr. Johnson can solve the problem about Alex's aggressive behavior. Emira's problem 2. Mr. Smith is a 7th grade math teacher who has noticed that several students in his class frequently engage in off-task behavior during lessons. This student often daydream, chat with classmates, or use their phone instead of focusing on their work. Despite Mr. Smith's attempts to redirect their attention on private engagement activities, the problem persists. This off-task behavior is disrupting the learning environment and affecting the overall performance of the class. And the question is, what strategies can Mr. Smith use to increase on-task behavior and decrease off-task behavior? Provide at least 3 specific strategies and explain how each one could help address the issues. Okay, there's the answer for this Mr. Smith problem. First, use active engagement technique. Students are far less likely to disengage when they frequently require to interact. Active engagement makes lessons more dynamic and helps students process information more effectively. It also keeps energy level up, reducing boredom that leads to off-task behavior. Use a behavior monitoring and feedback system. When students know their behavior is being observed and that there are clear, timely consequences are rewarded, they are more likely to stay focused. Self-monitoring tools also build student awareness and responsibilities. So Mr. Smith can use students to know their behavior, observe, and give a consequence or reward when there is the student that make a mistake. Here is our last problem. Mr. Brown is an 8th grade English teacher who is facing challenge with a student named Jake. Jake frequently exhibits disruptive behavior in class, such as talking out of turn, making inappropriate comments, and distracting other students. Despite Mr. Brown's attempts to manage the behavior through verbal warning and setting change, Jake's behavior has not improved. This disruptive behavior is affecting the learning environment and making it difficult for other students to concentrate on their work. So the question is, what specific strategies can Mr. Brown implement to manage Jake's disruptive behavior? Provide at least 3 strategies and explain how each one could help address the issues. Okay, there is an answer for Mr. Brown problem. There is develop a behavior contract with Jack. It is a written agreement between Mr. Brown and Jake outlining clear, specific behavior expectation. For example, raise hand before speaking. And second, positive reward for meeting goals. It is give Jack ownership for himself. And the third, consequences for continuous disruption. This gives Jack ownership over his behavior and set up a consistent system for accountability, involving him in creating the contract increase buy-in and help him understand the direct connection between his action and their outcomes. Use positive behavior, interaction, and supportive PBES. Shift from focusing on punishment to recognize and enforcing appropriate behavior. For example, praise Jake when he meets expectation. Use a reward system, such as point, privilege, and shout out. That's good. More of the students like Jake often act out to get attention. Positive reinforcement redirect this need towards productive behavior and encourage him to repeat. This also helps improve his self-esteem and classroom reputation. That's all for my presentation. Thank you so much.